Oh, here we go. Let's kick this show off today. Last time, well, actually I've done some improvements to the application since last time. Let's have a look at what we have at this point in time. Basically, it's a Next.js application that at this point has Supabase plugged in to take care of our database needs. It has a super simple UI. You could add expenses to the application. I've developed different categories I want it to have. It has authentication, also provided by Supabase. And basically, we are able to store the data, read the data, authenticate the user, as you saw super briefly. The rest of the application is pretty straightforward. There's nothing complicated about this thing in particular. I just wanted to cover a use case I have for doing some things. Basically, over the past year, I've been using like this expense tracking Google Sheet, which wasn't like anything super complicated or advanced, but it got the job done and it gave me the insight I wanted to get from it. So this thing here, you could just like give a name to whatever your expense is, select one of the categories. I'm planning to add also labels in the future, but I don't need that complication for now. Then you could put the value of it, set a date with this cheeky little calendar date picker, and save that expense, and then that adds it to the database. Now we have two routes. The index route is the so-called add expense route, and of course here this part of the UI can definitely see some improvements. I've just not wasted time to do like UI stuff that much. Been mostly focused on the functionality. And then we have these this view expenses view where we currently render some data. The data shape is like very simple and straightforward. Again, we have fields for name, category, date, and price. Nothing too advanced or specific. But one of the things I'd like to do today is I want to add some charts here to this thing. And we're gonna start small and simple. We could write some of our own stuff and like a lot of our own functionality, but I also would really like to not do that ideally, unless it's necessary. And so we're gonna lean on some open source libraries. However, I've not made the choice what we're going to use. It's gonna be recharts, this Nevo, chart.js, Plotly, or even something else. And I think that the first couple are the most fitting ones in terms of being easy to use. But yeah, let's go take a look at things, see some sample code, and well, decide on what to take into use. The way I imagine it, at least at this point, is like, again, I don't want to do any of the math myself. I want to give it the data object, and I want that to be used to just spit out a specific graph. One of the first super simple things I'm perhaps imagining is a monthly graph. So let's say one of the first views of this dashboard will be monthly graph. So let's say we have fields like basically like almost like an Excel table, if you will, like name, category, date, price for the current month, able to change between months back and forth, and able to sort when you click on a specific columns. So could we get any such type of a, probably it's gonna be a table, not a chart. And in general, or is that what is called a bar chart in this case? I don't know. Simple area chart. Line chart. see. Area. Yeah, I've just not really worked that much with like data representation in dashboards. So anyway, that's a very nice chance to learn about these things from this hobby project. Scatter points. I guess like most of these charts will be extra useful when we get to, let's start outlining a couple of things here. So I go to the overview page. Not fix that yet, but we can fix that later on. Let's not get distracted today. When the data is loaded, put it in there. Okay, this is also like just a dummy component. So let's see. Let's have here first. Let's have a monthly view, I suppose. That should show me the data at a glance. Like just for this month, for the previous month, I should be able to see the data. Let's see what makes sense. Table layout, question mark, not entirely sure. Able to switch from current to previous months. This is kind of like a nice to have, so able to click column title and get that column sorted by that value. That's not necessarily the biggest deal here. I don't necessarily care a whole lot about it. What I do care more about is able to see totals for each category. So we actually need to break down table into categories. Table layout by category. And now I'm starting to think, as we're writing these things down, are we then basically talking about the bar chart? It's such a pity that this thing is so small. It's not useful at all to try the demo in Code Sandbox. Like this site is really not mobile friendly. Let's see. Tiny bar chart. Would something like that make sense, where this is the amount of money you've spent, and then this gives you for that month how much the value in total is. So the totals would need to be calculated, I suppose. Question is, how much of that do we need to actually do ourselves, and how much can we lean on the library to do for us? Also, I've not made my choice that we're going with 3 charts, but at least at this point, from what I see, it seems very, very straightforward to use, and a bar chart is perhaps what we need to do. Actually, now that I 2-level pie chart. What is the simple stuff? Where is the simple stuff? Straight angle pie chart. Too simple. Too simple pie chart. What? Custom active. Like, we don't need like weird stuff. Like, this is enough. Like pie chart with customized label, right? Like, this is perfect. This is roughly what we need. Maybe we do that part as a pie chart. Would be nice if it gave you tooltips. Perhaps that's adjustable. Okay. Radar. Subject. So there are, like, as you can see, some quite complicated things. So this is calculating data overlap based on two values and a full mark, as far as I can tell. Tree map. Besides this looking like webpacks packing of node modules, or a bundle packing, I don't know if it's useful in our case. You could also produce such a line chart, I suppose. This is line chart, so it's a simple line chart over time of the different months total expenses, so that's also doable. So those are at least two things, and perhaps let's just start with something and let's go from there. So the other thing will be line chart, I suppose, over months of spending by category. Yeah, that makes sense. Perhaps I was wrong with this monthly view, where this is probably gonna be just a bar chart. Totals by category. Let's switch from current to previous months. There is that kind of wonder if I could get some music in here. Previous months. Let's see. Bring this down more. All right. So able to see totals by category, able to switch from current to previous months, able to click count. There will be no counts. So we're gonna go like that. That's one thing. And then line chart is pretty self-explanatory. No need to add something to it. Perhaps these two things could be added first, and then we can proceed with other stuff. So again, looking at the code, this looks fine. What about Nevo? Core diagram, pie chart. Let's take a look at the pie charts. Could be a pie chart too. Nice animations. I like that. Typing, love it. Configurability, looking good. Pie chart doesn't make, I suppose, sense, because we're not talking about something out of 100%. So, but then again, you could calculate like a relative size from the total spending. Yeah, I don't know, it might make sense. Line charts, honestly I think I like this better. We are gonna do my favorite thing when picking a trends that I do when picking up a new package to use. We're gonna do recharts, and then we're gonna do Nivo. I guess Nivo core, I suppose. It's broken down into different packages. Used less than recharts, but not too far behind in terms of likeness, less issues it seems. However, first major version is not released, which makes me think, is this still in beta then? Also 4 months ago last updated, so I don't know, is this dead? Interesting. It does look good though. What else? Area bump chart, bar charts. Pretty nice. Oh wow, this is almost what we're doing in a way. Interestingly enough, this type of bar chart is breaking down something within the bar itself, which could be useful. I suppose, yeah, there's just like so many ways that you could visualize that data, I suppose. And other more complicated things. Okay, how do you use it? Like, what was the code for that? Nivo core and Nivo line. Then you import whatever you need to do. It's configurable, but man, is there like a lot of stuff in here. That's crazy. That is crazy. I hope and I assume many of those are configurable or like optional. Ooh, okay, interesting. Access code, legend, gradient, theming. It's pretty straightforward array of objects, specific things that are defined. Looking good. Time scale. They have a storybook for most of the things. That is pretty cool too. That is pretty cool. I mean, I don't know. Rendering looks so smooth, and with the animations and everything, it's definitely nice. Nothing bad to say. Chart.js. Oh wow. I am surprised. I mean, this is a it's been around for even a little bit longer, and it's not React based, so I suppose in that sense it kind of makes sense that a lot more applications are probably being done with it, but let's see. Bar charts. Simple, nice tooltips. Very simple actually. Vertical bar chart, horizontal bar chart. Can you have like a normal bar chart? I suppose that's it. It's quite simple. Config object. There's its array. And I'm pretty sure they have some sort of a React wrapper if it's necessary. Might not even be needed. Let's look at the line charts, interpolation mode, line chart. Okay. Pretty straightforward, nothing complicated. Interesting. And this is, from my understanding, the most advanced one. I've not done like a ton of research, but this seems like a little bit more complicated. I don't know. So I'll probably still go with recharts, I guess, because it is the one that is the easiest to do with just React, I suppose. Let's see if we can start getting something added here. Let's do this. Let's follow that tutorial and see if we could get this done. For simplicity, I'm actually gonna work in straight in the overview route for now. It's not a big deal. Let's import line chart and line. Charts. Then we need to have some data, so let's start with some dummy data here. Some array of objects. In fact, I'm not gonna even perhaps worry about that. Let's see if we can plug in our real data. Let's see. Bar chart. Let's try working on that bar chart for now. Let's do. It has like some. Perhaps we can fine tune these later. Yes, some data will be passed. Now we're gonna pass what we get straight from the Supabase database. So in this case, that's the expense items. If we hit any issues here, we're gonna conditionalize the rendering of this component based on data or expense items existing and we're not in a loading state. So that's gonna be fine. I wanna check something quickly. Dev table, okay. Alright. And then they are doing here like line for a line type. monotone, whatever. We can explore the styling things later. Data key, put it as UV, whatever that is. And stroke, I suppose, is the color that they're using for the 8 in the example. Okay, is that gonna render something or not? Let's take a look. Failed to fetch. Let's see if we have a styling issue. It's very likely. If it's trying to render things with a black color on a black background. Though it doesn't seem to be the case. Color white. Title, description. Interesting. There is data. Okay, let's follow the original example. No, but we're not gonna follow it. Our data is fine. I don't think that render line chart. Type monotone. Dark UV stroke. Cartesian grid stroke. Let's add more things to it. I guess all of these need to be imported from here, so Cartesian what? Cartesian grid. X axis and Y axis. Okay, so we do see something now. Just the line is not rendering. That could be for a number of reasons, but it's probably the data key that we're giving to the line what to render based on. In our case, because the data looks like this, let's say, and actually this data needs to be shaped up anyway, but for now let's just put price as the data key. Yeah, that's better. Now, okay, we need to make some choices here. Because when we fetch from the server, we fetch all the data. We could either write the specific SQL queries that we're gonna get specific data from the server, or we could work with that data on the client side. I think we're gonna do the requests to the server. However, then I would have to select things with conditions. Let's take a look at what we have here first of all. We have entries from December only. Let's test data. And we have different categories and items of different value. So we need to actually make some more interesting queries. Let's see if we could do this. Log into Supabase. go to the table editor, SQL editor. New query. Or we could also play with the wrapper here, whatever. Right now we're doing something like select star from what's the table name? Expenses dev. Actually, they're not doing select star, they're doing select name, category, date, price. And it has to be, it has a condition where the user's ID needs to be equal to user ID. If I run this query, okay, you could write like an SQL query to actually sum that stuff up here. Let's try that. I feel like I prefer to, because these are not going to be necessarily that heavy things to do, I prefer to get the whole data as we're getting it right now, for now at least, and then do a couple of quick processing functions on it. It's not really a big deal to do that. Also, from now on, I'm gonna start logging here on every render the data, because I want to check some things. Because we're doing a lot of re-renders that we need to fix. Let's work on that later. Right, so if this is our original way of getting the data, select this is equal to, can we change here where? No. Select from table, select where? No. Okay, interesting. Contained by, contains only, just be array, match only rows for column, contains every element. CSV, explain filter. Oh, filter is what? Like limit, I know, match, maybe single, not equal to, not or, order, overlaps, range. Is that a date range? No, index. Select single text search then. Column operator value. Thing is, okay, let's try something. Okay. The column filter on. Match only rows which satisfy the filter. This in escape hatch. You should use the specific filter methods wherever possible. Unlike most filters primarily used. Okay, so first argument is column. Let's filter on the date, okay? So like let's get only the items for the past 1 month, for example. And for this to work, let's add one dummy thing. Let's do one thing from this month, from November. Funnily enough, yeah, we need to play more with the rendering stuff, but it's here in the data. And now, if that array has a length of 11, if I do that filter on date, where operator, okay, we need the notion of the current time. And I'm already not liking doing this based on the database, but I could be wrong. I have an affinity for front-end stuff, so we can do, I guess. Now, let's play around a little bit here. I need to see what's the current month. Yeah, so that's a 0 to 11, if I remember correctly. And basically we need to check if, let's see what kind of things we have available here. Equals a lot of options. I think we're really just gonna go with equal as an operator. So if the date, we need to find out actually the dates month, but how do I get the dates month? What is the correct way to do that in SQL, I suppose? Probably okay, if the date on the thing last month. Let's see again what kind of options we have. Adjacent, greater than or equals. Can I add 2 filters? What is the third argument? The value. This is not gonna work though, because the dates here, I need to parse the date somehow from here and get the month. Like, that's why I'm wondering if I should use that Supabase client or to do these filters on the database, or should I just get the for now I'm just gonna do everything in the front end, and if it's needed I'll change them to something else. That's exactly what we're gonna do. That's exactly what we're gonna do. So we get all the data in here. Let me check some things. Let me check some things now. I'm gonna check the impact on rendering. This is already like 2, 4, 6 renders. It's not very nice. Write an effect. It's gonna do something. If I do this where I run this effect anytime expense items changes, yeah. Kind of want to memorize what we're about to do, but let's do. Seriously, I want to see how many times it renders. Okay, so. can't really say that I've improved anything. Okay. Alright, we'll see. We'll create a number of derived state items that will be derived from the main expense items. I'm very tempted to let each of those items manage its own state, its own component. But we'll see. Alternatively, we could have functions that work on the array and basically change. I don't know. Is it time for a little bit of Lodash? Where is the API docs? Chunk compact, concat difference by drop fill find index first. Unions take right. Could do a bunch of complicated stuff with that alone instead of writing my own functions. Collections filter for each. Reject reduce, partition. Okay. I'm gonna do the bar chart as well. Show data format. Okay. I'm gonna do the bar chart. So bar chart, tooltip and legend and bar. bar chart, tooltip. Legend. So dash Cartesian grid. I think that Cartesian grid, I don't really need it for now. Data key here is name on the x-axis. What happens if we do category? No, what happens if we do price? Yeah, I need a new object where things are summed up by their categories. Question is, do I write myself such a function, or wait, x-axis is date. Category doesn't make sense. So let's take a look at the data. I need some diversity in here. For now I have only one item from November, which is not even visible here for whatever reason. Looking at the dates. Huh, interesting. The item is... Wait, what? The dummy thing item, I added it with a date of 17th of November. However, it's not here. So let's not even show this anymore. I don't know if I trust it. Get rid of that. I have one item from the previous month, and then items which we have multiples of the same. We do have groceries here and groceries here, so we do have multiples of the same. We have a name, price. That doesn't. These groceries here are from the same month. Right. So if the bar has a data key of... What does the data key mean? Price. Data key is correct. That's what's been plotted. That's fine. It's nice that you could do groups. Yeah, it's like so many ways you could represent this. If the x-axis data key is a date, but like, can it be like a nicer formatted? Or do I have to do that format myself? Let's look at the customization options. Customize your components. custom x-axis render function. Okay, so they're switching the value and rendering different things. And the way that's consumed is on the x-axis. There is a tick prop, apparently, that runs the render custom axis tick. XY payload, and returns whatever you want it to return. Okay. I just want to see the x-axis props, hide data key, ID with orientation type, low decimals, tick count, domain. Interval, padding. Would be nice to have some built-in functions for time, so I don't have to write my own, but I can. Tick, set false, no ticks will be drawn. Reverse label. Scale, okay. Unit. Name on click. So seems like we're on our own with the custom render thingy. Oh, oops. What is it that you don't like? Okay. Kind of wonder if I want to put these functions already from now in a separate file or not. I mean, just looking at it, there's just gonna be like a little bit of data processing. You're just gonna take something and return something, so they shouldn't have to be here in the same file. Is this a TSX? does have default export. File there says another module. Yeah. I'll fix this. Let's go with something like this. Whatever. I also want to fix one thing. Validate form, how it's imported. Just gonna be like that. No need to specify. Okay. So how we're gonna do this rendering thing? I'm gonna pass to the tick function. Here is going to be called render x-axis. It's going to import something from utils. Oops. And that's going to be but these function names will be even more specific now, because in this case I want to handle only rendering dates on the x-axis. So it's gonna be render x-axis date. But to rename this across the board, render x-axis date. Oh, I don't like it when you do that. Render x-axis date. Yeah, we will fix that. Apparently that probably shouldn't matter if it's x-axis or y-axis. I would imagine y-axis supports the same, but anyway, for now this takes an xy payload. Do I need these values? It's switching here in this code the payload value, and it's returning different SVGs. And then it's returning here something. In our case, where are these X, Y, and payload values coming in from? That's kind of what I wonder. Okay. Yeah. Switch payload dot value. Page A, page B. Which is the name here, which is passed to the, so the payload dot value is the data keys date. So this is this. So if I do now something like log from here the payload, actually not the payload dot value, the entire payload. Let's do like that, and then I'm gonna return this. Right, payload is this, coordinate index is show offset tick chord in value, and value is exactly the what we've defined here, the data key. Well, the data key. Alright, and so what we want to do in this case is actually quite straightforward. I'm gonna take as an example this. By the way, where are the dates? Why are they not showing on the x-axis? Because like we started fixing the whole thing because it was an issue, but like where you go? I don't know what you want. Is it a width thing? No. Because like they were showing up here, that's why I set off on fixing them, but like now they're not showing up anymore because I have the custom function. Yeah. And yeah, let's test. Okay, yeah. So that's kind of like what I set off on fixing, but like I would expect that if I write a custom function that returns let's see. No. ISO string? No. Date string? Without the day, I don't need the day of the week. Never know what's the best function for this type of thing. But to try to not get bogged down into the details, let's just do that. Oh. I would probably not do it like that with a one-liner, but type XY payload and it returns a string is not assignable to type boolean or SVG text element. Let's see what really is the issue there. They are returning an SVG. I mean, is it really like, do you really want me to? I don't know, this seems like a lot of pointless work just to change the labels on the x-axis. I don't know. Also, I don't like these numbers here and stuff. With height. Yeah, this is now living in the TypeScript component. It should be TSX. Like I just really don't like this way of customizing things. But this is exactly why you try out these libraries a little bit to see like what actually will be solving my use case and what not. It could be that this one here does that better. And so I will for sure be also playing around a little bit with the Nevo library as well before I make my choice. Otherwise, not necessarily like something wrong with this one per se, but yeah, just something. Anyway, that's one thing. So say we figure that one out, whatever. The other thing, I need aggregation functions here where we do specific things. Like for example, we need, quite frankly, I might actually just change the shape of the state object. So state is normally this expense item which is defined here in types. So this is, and it's an array of this expense item, but the app state could look more like something like I don't know if that would make sense, but no, I don't need to. I need to, at the very least, sum things up by categories, but I also only need to really do that in the past month, because as an expense tracker, the insight this provides is also a month-on-month basis. That's definitely going to be the first feature I implement. So before we even define, oh wait, what, how did I do this? Anyway, before we even do this, I'll just write a couple of functions right in here, and we're gonna move them later on. Yeah. Once we have here, if data, set expense items data, that's the fetch data. Items. I'm just debating in my head whether I want to keep things as arrays or objects. Because I'll iterate over all these items, and then I'm debating, should I first just sort them by categories regardless of their dates, and then iterate them by dates whenever necessary? Or should I first sort them by months? And I don't know what is the better choice, like in terms of performance. Like what is better to do, to iterate? Maybe we just wing it for now. But yeah, just thinking about it, like I just don't come up with any I don't know, negative trade-offs on, because like to sort them by date you anyway need to iterate every single item in the array once, and to put them into categories you also need to. But you could make the argument that once they're sorted in categories, then whenever you need to do some per month, by month calculations on them, you only do it on the specific category, so now you could only do that. But because the initial graph here is anyway gonna be showing for only 1 month all the categories, I still think it makes sense to just get the items for that calendar month only. And that's why I'm thinking just writing a nice date function that takes in the date and returns something within this month or the previous month. And besides Lodash, there is also this that we might take into use. Most probably we will, because again we could write of course our own functions, but like why bother? Close. Full maduration. Is after, is before, is date. Is equal, is future, is match, is past, is valid. Day helpers. End of day, end of today. And they have like all these specific helpers here. But weekday helpers, wait, where was the month helpers? Was there month helpers? Hour, no, interval, day, weekday, week helpers, month helpers. Last day of the month is this month, literally is same month. Kind of curious to see the implementation. Okay. So they're using it with get full year. So date left get full year is the same as date right get full year, and date left the month is changing for the month. So not necessarily a complicated thing. But again, I'm just wondering, like, why should I write my own versus use that library? Because when it comes down to that data manipulation, there is gonna be a lot of things here we're gonna be doing with dates, including rendering. So that might actually be useful. Is the given date in the same month as the current date? Is this month? Or is that what we were looking at? Is this month? Now, seems like we're gonna be doing the breakdown by dates first, which on some level it makes sense. Some level makes sense. Is it an array of objects? I suppose so. Still, at this point, it's not sorted. Okay. Okay. I'm not super happy with the data design so far, but okay. If the expense item, let's say, if is this month, what? Expense items date. Push it to that array. Push the whole object, the whole item. And once we have went through all of these, update the state. Starting with 2.0 beta 1 date functions doesn't accept strings as date argument. Please use parse ISO to parse strings. What version are we using? Oof, do something. Okay. See this documentation. Functions now don't accept strings as data arguments. String should be parsed using parse ISO or parse. Is that a function we import from date functions, or? I suppose so. Okay. Let's do that. Argument of type date is not assignable to parameter of type string. Because mine is of type date. Okay. Okay, I mean, fair enough, I suppose. I could change this. I guess it's not a date, technically speaking, since it's kind of like a string. Oh well. Anywho, what happened now? So, current items, current month items, current expense items, current month items. Makes sense. So the items on current month are 10. Could sort them by dates, and I could sort them by categories, but next, that's what I'm gonna do next. Here is again something I could literally write my own function and keep putting them in different categories if the object's key doesn't exist. Or I think we're gonna bring in Lodash for that, and they should have something in the collections. Count by each for each, right? Each, every filter. Let's see. Flat map. Key by. filter by. Reviews. Sort by. Yeah, that's gonna give me a raise for that specific. However, if I use this, then I'll have to call it like a bunch of times in order to get for each separate category, and I don't want to do that, so I'll just write my own. Also, these things from here, we're probably gonna extract them somewhere else, but we'll see. I need to gain a little bit better understanding on what exactly we're trying to do here, but for now we're gonna extract to utils, perhaps. We'll see. I don't know now also if I wanna how I wanna handle that state once I extract the state by categories, and do I wanna sort these ones by category or all of them? Probably I'll sort all of them, although again it depends what we're going to be rendering, but if we go off of that logic where again we render only for 1 month, then there is really no point in doing more work than sorting only these. Let's sort only these, let's do that. Yeah, that's gonna be very straightforward to do. I'm gonna move this one now out because it's like annoying me. I'll do a couple of things here. That's enough. I don't know if I need to type it explicitly or is it gonna get typed implicitly, but we'll see. Yeah, then I don't have to like have these buffers like right here, which is like annoying. That's fine. Get current month items from your tools, okay. So we need this here. And then now I can have this buffer variable here. We are going over this. Push into the buffer and return this. That does the exactly same thing, but now it's refactored. But now I can write my next function, which is gonna be the sorting function, and I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to do these as hooks, but alright. But then I also want to update the state of the set month items by category. Set current month items by category. Set current month items by category. And I'll pass in here something else. Now I'm gonna call another function called exactly any array. No, you're not returning any array. What are you talking about? Explicitly returning expense item array. Export function sort items by category, and we're gonna do here like a bunch of things. We need to type this object. I don't know if I want to type it here. Some categories could be missing. I don't know what the name is gonna be. But basically the shape of it is gonna be something like this, where the key is gonna be category. I don't know how you do keys. Is it key? Is this a computer property name in a type letter or most expression? Cannot find name key. I don't recall exactly how to type the keys on this object, but inside expense item. Because you could do things like that. No, I'm not sure exactly how to type this, so we're gonna get back to typing this thing in a little bit, but category key value. All right. And param items. Right. Yeah, it's a bit hard to type the return value, so it's not on any, but we'll do that. RAM items. Yeah, I think it should be inferred. Okay. Now, do sort items by category. And then pass the current month items by category. Alright, so all this has been added. Now that's empty. We're about to fill it in. So when we're gonna do this is we're gonna iterate each item, obviously. Const result, and then we're gonna do items for each item. We're gonna run something. We need a condition, so if results, if has own what is it, object has own key. What was the API for that? Has own property. What is it complaining? Cannot results has own property? Seriously? Yeah. If object does not have own property called item dot category for the first item, then we're gonna create the new category. We're gonna say results at item category. Will be a new array. Alright, and we're only going to be doing that if the current category is not being seen, has not been seen before. Once we've done that, we'll push the item anyway. Now those are detached, like we push the item anyway to the category, so we anyway do results at item category dot push item. This we're gonna do this here. This we're gonna do for all items anyway. You need to push the item in the items category, but we only ever create a new array if results doesn't already have that property. I think that's it really. And sure enough, here we have a couple of different categories with some items in them. We have a problem because I see here November and December items, and the issue for that is because we need to be careful. We have passed down here the items, the expense items, but we actually want to pass down, and that's why I extracted this thing out into a separate variable. We actually want to pass down the items this month, like this. And now we are done. Now to December items. These types of like cheeky little data massaging are gonna be pretty straightforward, so that's not what I'm worried about. But anywho, we have a couple of data processing functions. We have a couple of new state variables, and we're gonna use now those explicitly to render out this data. In fact, I kinda even wonder what happens if I briefly give, if we look at this one bar chart here, but if we compare the exact same thing, but we give as data only the current month by category already sorted once. So let's see what's gonna happen now. Not sure we're gonna end up with a good result. Yeah, that kind of makes sense, because you probably need to do something like this. Let's do groceries. Yeah. Which is not. That probably begs to be the data of the line. So for example, in this line chart here, if you have as data this, but then you have for the line the key to be let's say groceries, all of a sudden, nothing. Chart. Nah. Oops. Okay, well, that remains to be seen. We're gonna deal with that next, and we're gonna be playing more with how we deal with data. But yeah, that's gonna be it for now. Catch you later.